Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in this video we're going to watch Aviid at 90 million power take a double rally and get swarmed while imprisoned. And leading up to this situation, I think Aviid asked for a teleport spot. Ruz was like, you could have mine, but it's about to be on enemy territory, and this is what happened next. So he's getting double rallied here, and as you saw in the intro footage, I cut this part because the game crashed on my iPad when I was recording, and I was like, bro, are you serious? But I suppose better me as an observer of this situation than Aviid as a player, because he is under a lot of pressure here. We do see that Yoda 808 is nearby, and he's at like 1.5 billion power now, so it'd be pretty hard to move him out of that position. They'd have to build a flag underneath him if they want to TP him away. But Aviid is the one under pressure here, and he's now down to 85 million power. This is where things get really crazy, and look at all this skill damage. Why is there so damn much skill damage? Well, in part because there's obviously 12 marches swarming, but in part because we're in the Orleans version of KvK, where not only is swarming meta, but you can take skills from one commander and move them onto another through their auxiliary skill system. This means every one of these marches has multiple skills from other commanders on them as well. So you could have, for example, I use Guan with Skippy Prime, and I have Martel's second skill giving 20% defense, health, and march speed, and I also have Sun Tzu's third skill giving 10% less damage taken and 10% health. But you could also have instant proc damage, which is a part of the reason why there are so many skill damage numbers hitting his city here. And this is not the situation you want to be in, with the enemy having field all around your city and you're imprisoned. Now, as I have mentioned in many videos, this advice could save your city if you find yourself in this situation. The way you handle this, and I've given the detailed checklist before, but the simple answer is that you must have many billions of resources open. You must have your hospital screen open. And someone in voice says you're about to leave combat and you are just pushing the button on the screen before it's even there to start your heal. And then, I mean, look, you could gem it or you could use speed ups without waiting for helps. However you want to do it, you want to, as quickly as possible, clear your hospital. And that's why sometimes Aviid is able to jump his power back up, because he's actually able to clear out his hospital. The way that you obviously are losing troops here is your hospital overflows. So the problem is that you can't actually initiate a heal once you're thrown back into combat. And because there's so many marches swarming, you only literally get 1 to 2 seconds between your city burning and the combat initiating again to start the heal. So it's all about getting that heal started. Now, there are several things that could interfere with that. Like, for example, if you get caravans, that could throw your screen around to where you don't want to look, or you get a fate changer that could throw your screen into a view you didn't want to see that interrupts your possibility of getting off of the heal. So I've come to kind of accept that getting like a perfect result from this is actually very difficult to do, that you probably have your hospital overflow by 1 or 2 or more full swarms here, and it's difficult in this sort of circumstance to get it 100% of the time with a hospital heal. But he does a good job here of holding on for dear life. He is now down, however, to 75 million power. So there's probably been a couple times where he's not been able to execute that hospital heal, which, I mean, look, it is what it is. You do the best you can in this situation. And it ain't easy, especially in the Orleans KvK. Now, if you're defending your city, good news, bad news. Good news is that you also can put auxiliary skills onto a garrison. So you can start to prep yourself a little bit for handling this kind of a situation by having extra skills on a garrison commander. I think the reality is that leadership is really the best thing for defending your city, and nobody's really got that. Very few people have that, I should say, with a fully iconic, fully crit, fully whatever set. In this instance, Aviid told me he used a blend of, I think, a 4-piece set bonus and a 2-piece set bonus, and like, it just is what it is. You have what you have, and you use what you got, okay? I personally have Flavius with Hera set aside as a garrison I can use sometimes in this KvK, and also for what I'll defend my city with. So now there's not much time left on this Imprison. We're looking at 13 seconds, and the conversation in voice is a debate between, do you try to heal your hospital, or will you have enough time to actually port away? And the thing you want to do here is a random teleport. You could argue for going to Home Kingdom, but because people were now reinforcing him, that's not going to work. So now that he has left Imprison, he can random port away. He also had, I believe, a rally set, bringing all of his siege units out of his city. Very smart tactic. So you have to cancel the rally, then random teleport. And here he is with about 2 million dead troops, more than he had before. Down about, now he's 75 million power. And I think he has a hospital heal, so he's probably down about 12 million power or so. But we have all the reports from Aviid, so let's go look at those now. So here we are with the reports, and there are a bunch of them. We'll go through each one of these, talk about what he used to defend his city. And I will point out, unfortunately, this particular talent build he sent is not amazing for defending your city because this one talent only works in flags. But I will say a lot of the talent points leading up to this are really, really good. For example, this talent point over here and these points over here give stats for all troop types, which are really amazing in this situation. But I can show you a YSS talent build you would want to use for defending your city. In fact, I have several of those prepared for moments just like this. I recommend that if you have a city garrison, you do the same. For YSS, if you wanted an ideal city swarm build, it would probably look like this. Now, I spent a lot of time thinking about this kind of stuff to prepare for the worst possible situation. And the reason that this build would be really good is that, first of all, you reduce the damage you take by 9% when surrounded. That's absolutely insane. Also, over here, when this commander's troop has been reduced to below 50% of strength, you get 12% attack. That's 12% attack for all troop types. That's really good when you're defending your city. Also, reducing damage taken is very critical. Reducing skill damage taken is very critical. Increasing your counterattack damage and reducing damage taken is very critical. So I'd probably go for a build like this. And by the way, you don't really need to have nowhere to turn. This gives you rage every time you're hit by a march. But the weirdness of this is that if you're getting hit by 12 things, you're going to hit the maximum amount of rage per turn anyways. So you don't need extra talents to generate rage, which is why we've gone with this build over here. The 12x swarm, this would be the talents that you use. But he did have a YSS, man, and that's pretty damn good. And in the reports, here we go. First up, battle data. This, by the way, let's see, is this the double rally? I think this might, yeah, this has certainly got one of the rallies in it. These may not be in order, okay? These may not be in order. But in this particular report, Aviid has 132,000 die to 294,000. So on the dead troop count, he's looking really good. Obviously, the resources lost and the healing cost kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Okay, you just, when you're in this situation, you just eat the resources and hope you kill some troops along the way. Okay, report number 2. Here we go. This, it looks like his hospital was full, and he takes 836,000 deads. This is pretty brutal. To 288,000 deads of the enemy. Pretty brutal. I mean, look, it is what it is. You do the best you can in this situation. Sometimes you can't smash that heal. Here we go. The next one, 327,000 dead to 520,000 dead. So at this point, Aviid must have more troops in his city. He does not, actually. It just goes really well. He's getting reinforced here. That's what it is. So you can see he got the hospital heal here, bringing back 740,000 troops. I wonder if he had switched civilizations to have higher hospital capacity. That would be pretty smart, actually, in this situation. And here, reinforcements are starting to pop into his city, which is awesome. That's awesome. See, look at this. Clicking on this, Avid's like, for the rest of time, I will remember that these are the players who reinforced my city. Trust me, you remember. Okay, then, from here, the next report. Let's freaking go, baby. What do we got? 1, 2, 3. I think we're on report number 4 now. He did get a hospital heal here. Although it's only 163,000 units, which is kind of weird. And let's see. 352,000 dead for him. 443,000 dead for them. So a little bit positive on that one. And the next report. How did he do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th report now, I think that we're on. He got a heal for 480,000. We look at the battle data. 226,000 dead in his city. 481,000 dead for the swarmers. And at this point, by the way, some of these deads are coming from reinforcements rather than his own city. In that case, a number of the Sev wounds are going to other players rather than just himself. Now we're on the 6th report. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's one more. So this is pretty late into things. He's now down a whole bunch of troops. He does get a heal for 683,000. He had 160,000 die in his city and 508,000 die in the swarmers. So it's starting to look really good now that he's getting reinforced. Although it's a lot of Sev wounds. I mean, he's actually like making out okay here in terms of how many he's had die and how many dead troops they've gotten. It sucks that it's all coming from like your city, but like, oh well, it's what it is, man. It is what it is. 655,000 on the heal here, and in the battle data, 67,000 dead for him, 569,000 dead for them. So I think all in all, he actually went pretty even on the trade here for dead troops in this situation, weirdly enough. And, you know, he leaks some resources because they take them every time they burn a city. And, you know, you leak a lot of speed ups and resources healing your hospital down each time. But I would say all in all, a really solid outcome considering that you're up against 365, which is probably one of the top 5 kingdoms in the game you would least want to be in this situation against. So all things considered, a really good outcome, especially in Orleans KvK. I don't know that it gets much worse than an Orleans KvK for being in this situation because of those auxiliary skills. Now, speaking of which, we can get a look at the auxiliary skills, and your boy Aviid, brother, is missing the auxiliary skills here on his YSS. GG. What auxiliary skills would I use in a panic like this? I would probably say Julius Caesar's second skill would be pretty good. And then Saladin third skill, if you had it, will be the best you could do. That would be what you would put on your garrison in this situation. My recommendation, if you're in this version of KvK, is that leading up to big fights like this, you deploy even just some like secondary auxiliary skills onto whatever garrison you think you might use in this situation, so that when you get in that situation, you've got something kind of ready to go. They are swarming with all kinds of different stuff here and rallying with all kinds of different stuff. So we won't go through all the auxiliary skills they had. But if we just get a look at Avid's stats here, you can see he is wearing fully iconic gear. It's not fully crit because it's not leadership, and he's got a leadership commander as the primary. And I mean, look, the YSS as a primary is a mighty fine choice, okay? And the E-Song secondary to do area of effect damage is totally fine here. I mean, you've kind of got to use what you have, and in this instance, I feel like that's probably the best combo he's got. Like, I don't think there's a better pairing from his roster to actually go and use. I do think that like maybe a Charles Martel might be more interesting in this situation for the counterattack, but I'm honestly not sure what would do better. And cities do lots of skill damage, so the E-Song is honestly a fine choice. I suppose the rage gain here is made kind of worthless by the fact that you're getting swarmed a lot, but I think the garrison choice is actually fine. Just dropping the skills on there will be really good. My choices personally, you can see my auxiliaries here. For Flavius, I've got Wu Zetian's second ready to go. So 10% all damage and 10% extra damage to a rally. This actually is not as good as other skills would be for defending your city at this stage in the KvK. And this auxiliary skill is empty because if I am going to garrison, I bring in Saladin's skill. Now, in terms of the KvK itself and how this is progressing, I'm currently parked in our starting zone between battling right now and I'm about to get some dinner with the family. But if I zoom way out, I was actually really surprised that 365 went on huge offense during our downtime, and they took a bunch of territory back. So they've built a bunch of flags where we had territory yesterday, and they built all the way up to here. This is kind of the level of progress I was expecting them to make every single night. So last night, they kicked it up and really took over a bunch of stuff, and I suppose it's the weekend, and it's the kill event for Mightiest Governor, so that is to be expected now. Whereas during the week and 1254, everybody's a degen. So we're just as active on the weekend as we are during the weekdays, I think. Oh, man. Although now we are going into the weekend, and it is the kill event. And 846 also stepped up their game and burned a bunch of stuff over here as well, back to our forts. So there's maybe a couple flags worth of progress being made each way. each day here. And so now we're moving into our uptime, and we'll see what we get done. It's going to be interesting. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, consider doing so that you can keep up to date with this insane KvK. Who's going to win? I'm honestly not sure. Leading up to their really big uptime in 365 last night, I was kind of thinking, if they don't start to take back territory, and if they're actually on the back foot the whole time, like, don't we just win in Kingsland when there's no forts for them to fall back to? But now that they've kicked back into offense and actually shown, like, hey, no, we're not done punching. It was just a work week. Now it's actually really interesting. And I think Kingsland, I mean, this KvK is still totally up for grabs. So subscribe again to see how this KvK continues to unfold. I'll probably be doing a graveyard shift stream this evening, late at night again. So if you want to see the last graveyard shift stream and where things ended up last night before it turned into this, I'll have a card in the end screen for that. I basically rally stuff and then swarm with all my marches. And, I've dropped like 46 million power, I think, so far in dead troops, which is fine. I mean, that's what they're there for. And then I'll have another card in the end screen for the passes opening. Really crazy. You're not going to want to miss it.